Room slept on the Florida motel then. Dr. Dre said hell yeah, and I got it stamped like a postcard, word to mailman. And I know they're gonna hate, but I don't care. I barely can wait to hit him with the snare and the bass square in the face. This fucking world better prepare to get laced because they're gonna taste my venom. I got that adrenaline in 'em.
Like a bird in the wind.
In that one line, Venom manages to encapsulate his entire movie. Venom is a breezy watch that will not stick with you at all once you've left the theater. Sadly, it's heavily laden with what we've come to expect from Sony and their Marvel properties. That is to say, an inordinate amount of time spent setting up the next movie without putting any effort into making the movie that's playing good first. Additionally, the film is edited together in a very direct, abrupt way. The movie doesn't waste time with meaningful storylines. It also spends almost no time with such little things as character development. The film starts with a space shuttle crash. The Drake Foundation shows up to the crash site to collect the symbiotes, canisters of moving CGI slime. They find one of the symbiotes has escaped. It begins jumping from person to person as it makes its way to the other symbiotes. Cut to Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy, in bed with his girlfriend, Anne Wayne, Michelle Williams. Eddie is a reporter for the Eddie Brock Report. He is investigating the Drake Foundation and its founder, Carlton Drake, Riz Ahmed. During one of his visits, a symbiote escapes and attaches itself to Eddie. This is, of course, how Eddie becomes the titular Venom. What works? Well, mostly Tom Hardy's performance. I think he does all he can to fill out the fractional character as it was written. Because of the nature of the production, Sony needed to avoid using Spider-Man in Venom's origin. Consequently, they had to completely rethink the origin, since Spider-Man is pivotal to Venom's evolution in the comic book. Both Eddie's and the symbiote's hatred of Spider-Man is the catalyst that cements their bond. I'm not saying you can't do a Venom origin without Spider-Man. Of course you can, but you have to be smart about it. Much of this story feels as though the motivations are missing, and if you examine the source material, you realize they really are. Just cutting Spider-Man out isn't sufficient. He has to be replaced with something. However, Sony opted out of this option. Still, Hardy, who plays both Brock and Venom, does a solid job with what he has to work with, which isn't much. The chemistry between the two almost works, and almost could have carried this movie. However, that's not what Sony did. Sony decided to make their subset of the MCU and made the same mistake they made with their past few Spider-Man projects. They became so focused on building their version of the MCU, they failed to make a good movie first.
Hey, if you like this video, please make sure to hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe. That helps me out a lot. And if you really love this video, consider visiting my Patreon page.